Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video going over some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news. As we all should know, yesterday a brand new trailer for Generation 9 was released, a 14-minute long trailer that just goes over some of the new things being introduced in these games. And I just wanted to make a video kind of going over some things that I found pretty interesting while watching through it, and of course watching through it the subsequent times. Some returning Pokemon such as Phanpy and Donphan, Medicham and Glalie as well, and there are a bunch of other Pokemon that are going to be making an appearance in this game. The first major thing I actually really want to talk about is the, well, UI here. The UI and the battle for me, I really like it. I really love the simplistic UI that they got going on here. It's nothing too fancy or too colorful. It's just, it's there, you know what you're looking for, you know where you're looking, and you can focus on the background instead. Because the background doesn't change. The battle takes place right where you encountered the Pokemon. Well, at least according to this little clip here. But you can kind of see how seamless this transition is. From the overworld into the battle, it's just something that I find to be rather cool. There weren't really any new moves shown in this little battle here, but we do get to see what terastallizing looks like, as the Quaxly here does in fact do just that. And well, what can I say? I actually really like this animation. I think it's pretty cool. Is it something that you'll have to see every time? Part of me hopes you're going to be able to turn it off and you don't have to see it every time, because that could get a little annoying. But other than that, I really do like the animation of terastallizing. Now, speaking of terastallizing, you can actually encounter wild Terra Pokemon that terastallize at the very start of the battle. And they actually remind me of the Raid Den beams a bit, because they are very, very hard to miss. You can actually see them from a decent ways away. Now, I am curious to see if you are able to catch the Pokemon while it is in its Terra form, or if you will need to get the health low enough to catch it. And for that, only time will tell, or maybe some information on the website that I will be going over in another video. The next thing I wanted to take a look at here was actually the UI for the party. It's a really nice design. I do enjoy what they've done with it here. Very simplistic. I like the translucent that's going on here, so you can still see what's going on in front of you. This is a bit of a small detail, but it's still something I want to point out because I do like it, is that the Terra type, it looks different. Like the water type in this particular image looks different than the normal and fairy type. It almost reminds me of a gem itself, such as the Terraform basically being the gem. It's just a small thing that I really like. The other thing that was mentioned in the video, and it may have been mentioned in the past, is the fact that any Pokemon can have any Terra type. However, I do remember them mentioning something about types being, like some types being more rare than others, so I'm excited to explore what that means when the games do release in literally just a month and a half. Like, it is so close. One other exciting feature that I am super excited about is the fact that Pokemon can now battle on their own. This is a feature that I didn't know I wanted. Now, AFK experience farming can be a thing. But just being able to look around the world without being interrupted by a wild Pokemon running into you is such a nice feature. And this feature actually seems to be an improved feature found in Legends Arceus. In that game, you could throw your Pokemon at trees and rocks to collect crafting materials, where in this game, you can just tell the Pokemon what to do, and it will do just that. You can just walk around, it'll battle the Pokemon, it'll pick up items. I'm really excited to explore the Paldea region with using this feature. Now, the next thing I wanted to point out here was just how massive this map looks. Like, just look at this, just how little movement. Like, we're almost fully zoomed in. We are fully zoomed in this clip. And he sets his destination, and just look at the travel time, even just this small, like, second here. You're riding on the Pokemon, probably going the fastest you can in the game, and that's still a good 5 seconds, just not even getting anywhere. I am super excited to explore this map. And I know that this game is going to be open world, but one of the last things I expected to see was something that reminds me of games where you take out bases, games like Metal Gear Solid 5 or Far Cry, where you can just roll up to the Troublemaker's base here and just beat all of their Pokemon. Now, the other thing I do like with this feature, the bases themselves, is that they are putting the Let's Go feature to use. The feature where you can just tell your Pokemon to go battle or go do stuff. I do like that they are implementing that a little bit more. So we do get to see a little bit of that in the trailer here. And then the one thing I wanted to point out as well is just how very much, just how much I've enjoyed all of the designs for all of the characters they have shown thus far. And I know I've talked about this in previous videos, but they all just look unique and well-designed, and I am excited to see what other characters they're going to be introducing us to when the games do release. Now, the next part of this trailer actually has me super excited, but for the competitive standpoint of this game. As you can see here, it's the TM machine. It's the Technical Machine, where you can craft TMs using items found what I can only assume you get from beating Pokemon and exploring the world. As we can see in the clip here, as you can see, the Icy Wind here takes Snover Berries and Snom Threads, as well as something called League Points. So I assume you get the Snover Berries from beating Snovers and the Snom Threads from beating Snoms, two Pokemon which are now confirmed to be in the game. As we can see on the left there, we also see Hatena, Teddiursa, Growlithe. So there are a lot of other Pokemon that they're subtly introducing into these games without outright saying that they're in the games. But I'm excited to see what TMs we're able to craft in this game. As I'm sure someone out there has already deciphered what all of these TMs are, but it's not something I want to do right now. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about were these Titan Pokemon. They touched on them briefly in the game, and one thing that they remind me of are actually the Totem Pokemon from the Sword and Moon. They actually remind me of the Totem Pokemon from the Sun and Moon games. So I'm curious to see what we're able to do with those, how they play into the story, if we're able to catch them, and everything like that. Up next, and this is pretty huge for those of you who are fans of Girafarig, but after 20 years, 20 some odd years, Girafarig is finally getting an evolution, and I know they pronounced it in the trailer here, so forgive my pronunciation, but it's Farigiraf? I don't know. I haven't listened to it again since I've started recording, but it's an interesting design. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it's a thing, which means there might be some other Pokemon, old Pokemon, that may be getting some evolutions as well. So I'm excited to see what other Pokemon are going to be getting love in this game. Now, one thing I don't want to skip over is, and this bit of information really is just for me, but as we see on this screen here, both Eevee and Umbreon are making an appearance in the game. And based off of what we see here, they appear to be in, they appear to be in the base game, which means I don't have to wait till post-game, like previous titles, to get my Umbreon. So Umbreon will be joining me on my adventure through the Paldea region. One thing that also interests me is that it looks like these Pokemon, maybe you can take photos of the Pokemon and have those be the Pokedex entry photos. Maybe they're introducing some Pokemon Snap elements into this game. I don't know, but they all just seem to be very interesting poses that, just got me thinking here. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are the fact that gyms are coming back, which is great. We already knew this, but they do seem to be changing things up yet again. Instead of just fighting the trainers and then fighting the gym leader, they are doing kind of what they did in Sword and Shield, where there is a bit of a trial you need to complete before you can face off against the gym leader. Something that I actually really enjoyed in Sword and Shield, it did give it a nice little spin, so it wasn't just a boring, go in, fight 4 people, leave with the gym badge. You actually have to put a little more thought into it, something that I really do like. I'm all for it. We also do get to see a little more about what the battles look like, and it's something that I'm still, super, super impressed with. Now, probably one of my favorite things about this trailer, the customization. And you can customize so much in this game. Now, in previous titles, you could change, the hair color, the hairstyle, the eye color, the skin color, maybe, 1 or 2 other things. But in Scarlet and Violet, there's a whole lot more. Not only can you change the hairstyle, the hair color, but from this screen we can see that you can change the eye shape, you can change the eye color, you can change the eyebrow color and type, you can change the eyelash color and type. Looks like you can change the lip type and the lipstick, so basically lip color, as well as what I assume are like beauty marks, things like freckles, moles, little things like that. You can really make this character how you want to, and I am super excited about that. Now, I did briefly mention earlier how I thought that the Pokédex did look like the Pokemon were taken by the trainers, and this is one of my main reasonings as to why I say that. But photo mode is coming to the game. Selfies are making an appearance in Pokemon. And, you know, customizing trainer cards has actually been something that I enjoyed in the past. In fact, me and my buddy TJ Scorman, I did some videos with him in the past. We used to see who could make the most ridiculous designs in Sword and Shield for our trainer cards. So the fact that you can take photos of yourself with Pokemon in the overworld and the overworld itself is something I am really excited for, and I will be spending a good amount of time customizing a really good character card. Now, the one thing I want to touch on very briefly before we move on is what's being tracked here on the trainer card. So you got the badges, you know, okay, that's normal. You got the Pokédex, okay, that's normal. You got caught versus seen, all normal stuff. You got Shiny Pokemon Battle, which is also normal. Hold up, wait. What? That's right. It appears that they will be tracking the number of shiny Pokemon you have battled, which leaves me with the question of how shiny hunting will work in this game. If it's something that they track, they must be doing something fun for shiny hunting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. The other thing that they appear here are the recipes collected, which is another minigame that I am looking forward to, and in fact, that is going to be the next bit of information here. Next, we have picnics. This game's campsites, basically, from Sword and Shield, where you can wash your Pokemon, you can play with them, you can walk around the picnic site, unlike in Sword and Shield, where you could only view the camp from a first-person perspective. Now, the other really cool information that they've shown here is the fact that you can find eggs during your picnic basket, or during your picnic, in your picnic basket. Just a random Pokemon egg that you can hatch and add to your team. Which leads me to another question of, are there going to be Pokemon that can only be found in this way? And if there is, it's just another incentive to use these picnics more, because I did curries a lot in Sword and Shield, but once I got the gold, tools, I haven't really cooked curries since. So, the food that's being made in this game are sandwiches. Interesting. I don't have much to say about it, but it does seem like an easier minigame than making curry. I just hope that there's some rewards to making every sandwich. Maybe different colored plates or things like that. I'm excited to see what this minigame has in store for us. Now, the other cool thing about these sandwiches is the fact that they give boosts to things. As we see in the top right of the video here, this gives catching power to fairies, so I assume fairy-type Pokemon are going to be easier to catch. You're more likely to encounter grass-type Pokemon, and then in raid battles, ground-type moves, I assume, have more power to them. Very cool, very interesting. I am excited to see what else these sandwiches boost. So we are almost done with everything I wanted to talk about so far, but there is one more thing I wanted to discuss, and that was the Terra Raid battles. So Terra Raid battles are coming to this game, and I know this isn't new, but it's still something I wanted to talk about. Now, they are taking a bit of a different stance than in the Max Raid Dens from Generation 8. Instead of it being turn-based, where you just choose your move and the action happens, you can just use your move when your action bar is ready. Very reminiscent of games like Final Fantasy. Now, the other thing that I find very interesting about the Terra Raids is the fact, or like the actions that you can use in them. So you have your normal attack, bag, things like that, but you also have the ability to cheer. And this can do things from heal Pokemon to give stat increases, something that is very, very cool and just allows for more, teamwork in these games. But yeah, I mean, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about in this trailer. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite thing about this trailer was. And again, my favorite thing has got to be the customization. I am really excited for that. Being able to just fully customize my character is something I always really enjoy. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. This game is just over a month away, and I am super excited for it. But stay tuned for another Pokemon video soon, going over some more information that I do find on these games. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!